Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Here in the Cabral Concept, episode 3157, it's our Friday review. Can't wait to bring you, of course, two brand new research studies. One I want to share with you on the absolute best time to take a 20-minute siesta or a little bit of a nap. How long to take, because there is actually detrimental effects from napping if it is done for too long. I also want to bring you something that beats medication in terms of IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. I've got a book review of the week just in, plus we have our product review, something that I switched to for my bedtime-based routine. But before we do that, I always bring you the podcast recap and what's going on inside of our integrative health practice. And just one tip, one thing I wanted to share with you this week that is the last week. So today is September 27th as you're listening to this, and this is the absolute last week, 3 days left to get your tickets for the Reimagining Health Summit. This is a live event put on by myself and my team with 16 expert speakers on AI being used in health, on the non-sleep deep rest meditation and other forms that can rejuvenate the body. We have talks from founders in the health-based field that you won't see anywhere else. All sorts of talks, full body MRIs, what's coming in the future. So absolutely amazing talks by experts, people that I contact when I have questions. And there are over 20 different exhibitors that are going to allow you to test all of the best things in the health-based space. If you don't have a ticket, you're missing out, because this is also where our community comes together each and every year. Not just our integrative health practitioners, but many people from the community. And it is happening this October 23rd to the 25th. 2.5 days. We have a welcome party on the first evening, and then 2 full days of speakers, exhibits, live events, and so much more. I don't want you to miss it. Head on over to RHS Event, rhsevent.com. Use the code Cabral100 to get your lowest possible price on tickets ending this week before they are also sold out. So definitely check that out. Can't wait to see you there. All right, podcast recap for the week. Hopefully you didn't miss it. On Monday's show was the 3 C's of manifesting success. So check that out, all 3 C's that you need, and the 1 C that most people get wrong. On Tuesday's show was skin itchiness reasons. So all the different reasons for skin itchiness, because I have a follow-up show that you won't want to miss next week on specific nutrients. This was every other reason why. Check that out. Wednesday's show was all of your questions answered on food sensitivities and food sensitivity testing. So case study there as well. I actually take you through a case study. And then yesterday's show was 10 signs your lymphatic system needs support. And then I give you on that show 3 easy ways to help drain that lymphatic system, which improves so many different symptoms. 10 of those I give you right on the show. All right, let's dive into now our first product review of the week before we go into our book review. And one thing that my wife has been using for a couple of years now is a different pillowcase than comes with our bamboo sheets. So we use 100% organic bamboo sheets. They're absolutely incredible. All the resources that I use are at stephencabral.com/resources. But she switched out her bamboo pillowcase for a mulberry silk pillowcase. Now, I'd like to consider myself not needing to go always to the highest level, but when it comes to health, I'm always keeping an open mind. And I say, you know what? Sure. If it is a reason why we need to do more, let's do more. And so I looked into it, and yes, of course, she was correct. So mulberry silk, especially for your pillowcase, maybe not your whole bed, but your pillowcase actually makes a difference. So why? Let me go through the different reasons. So bamboo is typically hypoallergenic, which is fantastic. No doubt about that. Bamboo is always better in terms of body temperature regulation. So less sweating, more cooling for the body, which you absolutely want at night. But where mulberry silk stands out is actually with your skin and your hair. It is gentler on your skin, which means less wrinkles from your face pressing up against the pillow all night, and less abrasive or less drying to the hair versus cotton. So I found this to be compelling enough research that I said, you're right. I too am now going to get a Mulberry Silk Pillowcase. Now I felt like it was a little high maintenance for me. I didn't know necessarily that I needed to do that, but it does make a difference. And so I wanted to share it with you. It's a little bit more of an expense to it. And let me tell you why though. So mulberry silk is simply silkworms that feast on the leaves of the mulberry tree. So you can get silk from all different types of silkworms from different types of trees, but mulberry silk is just from the mulberry tree silkworm. So they spin up their silk, that's what's taken. Now, it's again a little bit more expensive. You're looking at $50 to $60 per pillowcase. So again, not inexpensive. You'll have it for a while. You do sleep on it for 8 hours or so a night. So that's kind of how I look at it and justify it as well. But that is one of the reasons why it's a little bit more expensive. You're looking at a more of a scarce resource. So I don't know this company. I'm not being sponsored by this company, but it's called Fisher's Finery. There's a lot of different brands, by the way, out there that do mulberry silk. So I just want to share that with you. This is just the one that I got. So I want to share with you exactly what I paid for and I bought myself. And then I will link it up at stephencabral.com/3157. So my wife has a different brand. I decided just to test out this brand, and it's called the Fisher's Finery Black Label. So it's their higher end one, 100% pure mulberry silk pillowcase. Okay, so if you're not watching this video, I'll just explain it to you. Comes in this beautiful black box. You open it up and it looks like it's a gift set. So it has the little tried and tested purity testing card that they use, and then all the different benefits essentially of the mulberry silk, plus how you'll want to launder it. Not a massive amount of specific laundering. I don't do anything too wild. And then inside of this, I just always get white. So our sheets are just basically white. Linen white is what it comes in. So it's one, you can get it standard. You can get a queen size, which is 2 inches larger than the standard. So standard pillowcase, I think it's about 20 inches or so wide. The queen is 2 inches more, 30 inches. And then there's obviously king size as well. I prefer a little smaller pillow. So I'm kind of like, if I sleeping on like the sides of the pillow, that I'm not rolling back and forth, but you do whatever works for you. But this, as it says, is 100% pure mulberry silk derived from the finest grade 6A silk available. And what I'll do is I'll simply link up the brand that I'm going with, but I know obviously there's a lot of great other mulberry silk brands. So this is going to go on my resources page as well. All my resources for my bamboo sheets and everything are at stephencabral.com/resources. And whenever possible, I try to get you a discount code to these companies. Sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not. It's great for me. Obviously, it'd be great for you as well. All right, so check it out. If you've never heard of mulberry silk, now you have. And we are now all in the know. All right, book review of the week. I love being able to read a couple new books every single week. And this week is, I'm going to share it hopefully next week. It's a more popular one. They've been interviewed now all over the place. Their book was sold out because of how popular they are. I'll hopefully be able to review that for you next week. This one, though, is by no less phenomenal of an author, just different. This is motivational. And this is someone, his name is Mike Robbins. Have not met Mike, but a motivational speaker, spoken with huge companies around the United States. Google, Wells Fargo, Adobe, The Gap, U.S. Department of Labor, Charles Schwab, so San Francisco Giants. But the book is called Nothing Changes Until You Do, a guide to self-compassion and getting out of your own way. But what I want to share with you, because I read these books, I truly do. And I like to always give you, is it the right fit for you? And this book, though, is different than, let's just say, a couple of the other ones that I read this week. This is more like a daily reader. So I've given a lot of daily reader recommendations before, but I do recommend books like a John Maxwell and others where it's about 2 pages, maybe 3 pages maximum. And usually it's more like 1 to 2. What's another one I gave you? Robert Greene's. So just daily readers that you pick it up in the morning and it's going to take you no more than 3 minutes to read. And that's really what Mike Robbins' book is here. This is 40 different essays. It's not, yes, it's one cohesive book because it is all about becoming the best you, right? And that you ultimately need to change your actions and also how you think, of course, before you change your actions in order to get a different life, meaning nothing changes until you do. Meaning that if you want a different life, well, you're the captain of the ship. You need to change course first before your life does. And so really what this is I just opened up to chapter 20. It should, I mean, in my opinion, it's essay 20. Give yourself permission to cry. How long is that? It is 4 pages. The next one is chapter 21. Swing hard just in case you hit it. Mike's a former baseball player. That is 2.5 pages. There's another one, how to have the courage to be vulnerable. Then roll with life. Just open it. Don't sweat the small stuff. And he gives you his feelings on this. Another one, be real and compassionate about money. So talking about what money holds and what it looks like in your life. Stop shoulding on yourself. So all the things that you should do, I should do this, I should have done that, and kind of walking you through all that. So it's one part motivational, one part compassionate, and the other is like, we're kind of all in the same boat. We all have these same feelings, and so it's about not ignoring it, it's feeling it. And then really another great book that says it's feel the fear and do it anyway. It's to begin to move forward. So if you're looking for a daily reader, you don't have one that's, 2 pages a day that can give you a little inspiration to start your day and maybe even before bed, this is a great one. So Mike Robbins, Nothing Changes Until You Do. It's probably I said 40 essays, about 187 pages or so. All right, I'll link that up as well. Let's go through our research for the week. The first one is specifically on diet being more effective than medication for IBS. This is a study published out of the University of Gutenberg. And let me just take you through what it says. Irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, causes abdominal pain, gas, and abdominal bloating, diarrhea, and constipation. Treatment often consists of dietary advice, such as eating smaller and more frequent meals, avoiding excessive intake of food triggers such as coffee, alcohol, or fizzy drinks. Patients may also be given antidepressants or medications to improve specific symptoms such as gas and constipation. A new study compared the effectiveness of dietary changes and medication. The first group was given traditional IBS dietary advice, focused on eating behavior combined with a low intake of fermentable carbohydrates known as FODMAPs. These include products with low lactose, legumes, onions, and grains, which ferment in the colon and can cause pain and gas in IBS. The second group received a dietary treatment low in carbohydrates and proportionally high in protein and fat. In the third group, the best possible medication was given based on the patient's most troublesome IBS symptoms. Each group included around 100 participants, and the treatment period lasted 4 weeks. All groups reported significantly better quality of life, less physical symptoms, and symptoms of anxiety and depression. Among the groups, 76% of those who received traditional IBS dietary advice and low content of FODMAPs had significantly reduced symptoms. About 71% of the people in the group receiving low carbs and high protein and fat did too. For the medication group, it was 58%. At a 6-month follow-up, when participants in the dietary group had partially returned their previous eating habits, a large portion still had clinically significant symptom relief. About 68% in the traditional dietary advice and low FODMAP, 60% in the low-carb group, and no follow-up or change in the medicated group. So what does this share with us? Well, it's basically saying we're looking at traditional advice, little lower carbs, removing fermentable foods. Okay. The second group, kind of eat whatever you want for carbs, but keep them low, increase your protein and fat. So you're eating less fermentable foods, but not specific ones because you are just going low carb. And that didn't work as well as the specific foods that you're eliminating. And the third group, they got less results, and that's because they weren't following any real dietary advice and just taking the medication. So both groups on diet beat the medication handily, so that's important for you to know, but also with the understanding that when you're on a diet that isn't feeding the true underlying root cause, which this study, again, conventional medicine always blows my mind. Why? We always ask in natural health, integrative health, why would someone in the first group get better results than the second group? Why? So it's asking the question, why? Why would those two diet groups get better than medication? Medication is supposed to be the best, right? Here's the reason why. That they were feeding less of the candida overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth. Okay, good. But they're going to return, as they said, back to more regular eating. Why not eliminate the bacterial and candida overgrowth, which are causing the IBS symptoms in the first place, besides stress? They don't think about that. So it always blows my mind. So what we do and what is clinically effective, thousands of practitioners using this as well around the world, not just myself and my team. It's called the CBO protocol. It works. It comes with a specific nutrition plan as well that has already been proven even well before the study in the University of Gutenberg to eliminate a lot of the FODMAP foods, but also other foods that we found to be quite detrimental, at least in the beginning 3 to 4 weeks for someone's gut. So that's the CBO protocol. You can check it out at stephencabral.com/CBO, which stands for Candida and Bacterial Optimizer. But all of that is complete. All of it's there done for you. But I will tell you this, that you can alleviate these symptoms, and it does work better than medication as proven by this study. All right, second research study for the day. So we've got short naps will help your health, but longer naps will harm them. Many, many years ago in the Cabral Concept, I did a whole podcast just on naps and the timing of it and all of those things. Basically, here's what it came down to. And this study backs it up as well. Where was this done out of? This was done over 3,275 healthy individuals out of the University of Murcia in Spain. I apologize if that's not how you pronounce that. I'm sure it's not. And it was published in the Journal of Obesity. Okay, so decent study, big study, done in Europe, published in Obesity. And really what it came down to is this. And this is what the previous research showed as well. You really don't want to take a nap for longer than 30 minutes. So here's what I do. If I have the opportunity, take a PMF or an acupressure or just some binaural beats, close my eyes, whether I fall asleep or not, 30 minutes, set the timer. But it takes a few minutes to just kind of unwind and to relax and to work on your breath work. So if you do kind of fall asleep for a moment, it's probably more like 20 minutes. This is what's been shown to be the most effective. Less grogginess than when you wake up, healthier for the central nervous system, balances healthy levels of stress and cortisol to a greater degree. So that all of that we know. It helps improve blood pressure, which is what this study showed. So that's excellent. Here's what it found though. Those people that napped for longer than 30 minutes had actually higher blood pressure, higher body mass index, and conditions associated with diabetes and heart disease. Basically, they had an increase in all of the biomarkers from metabolic-based disease, cardiovascular, blood pressure, and blood sugar. And the reason is, and they don't go into it in the study, they just said longer naps may disrupt circadian rhythms, altering cortisol levels, which are implicated in insulin resistance, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Okay, well, that doesn't even make any sense because when you take a nap, you're decreasing cortisol levels. If you decrease cortisol levels, you're going to allow for better blood sugar regulation, better dilation of the arteries. But here's what does happen. It puts you into more of an anabolic state, which conventional medicine still has a difficult time kind of recognizing anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is growth. It's why if you sleep for more than 9 hours a night, consistently over months and years, you're more prone to obesity, high blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera. But if you sleep less than 7, you're prone to basically the same things, okay? Well, one is more catabolic, one's anabolic, one's growth inducing though, which is the more too much rest, right? So the kapha body type, which they talked about in Ayurvedic medicine years, I know I'm going on a tangent, years and years, right? Thousands of years ago, they're not someone that really should be doing a lot of the napping. The vata body type, which needs to lower those cortisol levels, lower those stress levels, would be much better suited, even pitta-based with a nap. Endomorphs, kapha-based, if you're suffering from high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and cardiovascular issues, and you might be, let's say, 20, 30, 50 pounds overweight, take that mid-afternoon time, have a nice tall glass of water, hydrogen water maybe, and go for a walk. Go for a 20, 30-minute walk, which would much better suit you than a nap. And the reason is now you're bringing blood sugar levels back down. You're still calming the central nervous system, but you're also circulating the blood. So this is so important. I know that this starts to get a little bit nuanced, but I just want to share with you that it's not all for one advice. Not everybody should take a nap mid-afternoon. And if you do, just make sure you don't overdo it. We can start to get some of the negative health effects rather than all the health benefits. So hopefully this was helpful today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link up both clinical research studies. I'll link up the book. I'll link up the Mulberry Silk Pillowcases at stephencabral.com/3157. Of course, if the show is helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. And I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral Concept. Those are our Cabral house calls every single weekend answering our community's questions. Take care. Hope it was a great week. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.